recap Triple G versus Canelo 2, and unlike the first time, I actually saw this in a public place. When you watch fights in a public place, there's a lot of noise. It's really hard to judge. So for me, the fight was really hard to score. And this fight was very different from the last fight. It was kind of like the reverse, right? It was now Canelo that was moving forward. And you got to give him props because he said he's going to come forward, and he did. And it was Triple G looking... He looked a little old, man. I gotta be honest here. Listen, the fighter can age overnight. And it doesn't matter how Triple G looked last year when he fought against Canelo. It doesn't matter how he looked in his last fight. The fact is, fighters can age overnight. And he showed his age at 36. I felt that he was a little sluggish. I felt that he was a little slow. He was not as aggressive. I felt that he was a little bit more tired than Canelo. I will give Triple G some credit because towards the end of the fight, where I felt that he was going to get knocked out almost, Triple G made a big comeback, and I think he won certainly rounds 11 and 12. But just waiting for the decision, I honestly did not know who to score for. In the first fight, Triple G won hands down. I think if 100 people were watching and they're not biased, 100 people should score for Triple G. Okay, that's how confident I am that he won the first fight. But as far as the second fight goes, I think it should have been a draw. I think this is the fight that should have been a draw. If you had to give it to somebody, right? If I have to choose one person, I would give it towards Canelo. A lot of people are claiming for Triple G, but Canelo, man, just watching the fight as it is, and you can't really just rely on stats, guys. If you just look at stats, Triple G outlanded Canelo 234 to 202. If you take a look at the power shots, Canelo outlanded him 143 to 116. So Triple G was able to outland him in jabs. He doubled the jabs basically. But really, who do you give it to? Do you give it to the guy who's landing, who's controlling the ring, who's landing the bigger shots, or do you give it to the guy who is landing volume, right? So is it quality or is it quantity? And you can't really just rely on stats when you're judging, right? It's not a math problem. You really got to look at it from the outside and see who's doing everything. Who's landing the more effective shots? Who's landing more shots? Who's controlling the distance, the ring, right? Who's imposing their will? And who's winning the fight in the eyes of the crowd? Tough fight to score, in my opinion. A draw would have been the best score. I would not be mad with the draw, but if I have to give it to somebody, you have to give it to Canelo. Maybe they'll have another fight. I honestly don't want to see another fight. Triple G, next year he's going to be 37. He looked a little slow tonight. He looked a little old tonight. Canelo's about to enter he's just entering into his prime, whereas Triple G is past his prime as far as age goes. I don't want to see another fight because I think he'll lose another fight even worse. I think he's definitely going to lose. So it just sucks that the first fight, again, he got robbed and he has a draw on his record, and now he has an official loss on his record. Really should have been 1-1, and then we can see a third match. But as of right now, it's one draw and one loss for Triple G. Fight.